Hi guys, welcome back to another overthrow disc golf video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to try to simplify your backhand setup. So grab a disc, let's get into it. What's up, disc golf peeps? So one of my goals as a coach is to find the most simple, repeatable form that gets rid of problems ahead of time. So I'm gonna give you what I think and what I teach my students is a very simple, efficient setup. Old man form, if you will. There are a lot of ways that the pros do this, but what I think is probably the simplest is even as you stand forward like this, before you start, to go ahead and just start with your disc in the power pocket. Okay, so that's where you have the 90 degrees here, right? And you have left hand on the disc, not grabbing the disc, because I don't want you holding on it back here because that will inhibit some shoulder turn. But when done properly, this makes sure that as you take the disc back, both shoulders are rotating to get the disc back. It's gonna keep you from pushing or punching that disc back a little bit. The other thing that the left hand on the disc does is it kind of encourages a little bit of looseness in the wrist. If you didn't know, you should not be locking out this wrist. And here's a good time to go ahead and push that wrist in a little bit, because the wrist is going to go, you know, even if it flares out like that, at some point, the wrist is gonna break into the chest to some extent. And this is where we're gonna get all of our spin from, and is when it breaks into the chest, it's going to go back out of the chest after that. And that's kind of your tip of the kinetic whip. Boom, is the wrist. So that's the other thing it's gonna encourage. Now, one thing that I see a lot of people do, and I wanna be very particular on, is that you don't have it down here. The reason for that is it gets this elbow out away from the body. This is not the power pocket, right? This is closer to drawing the bow. And if you start with it out here, it makes it really easy for your body to want to push this disc back and then rotate. And so now the disc is moving backwards apart from coiling your shoulders, which is not what we want. We want the disc to move back because the shoulders are being coiled. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the disc is on our trailing side. So for me as a righty, that's my left pec. And if you're a lefty, that will be your right pec. So we want it over here. That's creating our box. And the other thing it's doing, I already mentioned the elbow earlier, but this is gonna make sure that the elbow gets up and away from the body. What happens is if you have the elbow tight here, even if you do rotate back, as you uncoil the shoulders here, if the elbow's too tight, you can't let the disc move in here, and you end up pulling by necessity. Because the only way to move this disc forward without hitting your body is to actually pull here because the elbow's so tight, right? And this is one of the reasons I think the wide rail has become so popular, because it keeps the elbow up and away from the body. And very, you know, twirly bird or slappy bird-esque, right? That nice high elbow creating space away from the body, keeping the disc on kind of this plane here, as opposed to just being pulled along a line here. This really creates the space for the swing, this high elbow. So those are a couple reasons why I think this is the most simple and efficient backhand setup. And you see pros do it. There are some variations of this. Some guys are high like this as they walk up, and other guys kind of have the disc down, more vertical like this. Both are acceptable. Again, they're creating space here. The elbow is up and away. And they get the disc back via coiling the shoulders. Just to put it all together, I would actually walk up like this, facing the target. Disc is already in the power pocket. Makes this super simple as you come back through. You go here, rotate back with the upper body, and now you do your throw. If we were to break it down really simply from the front, if you were to follow me from the front the whole time, which Mikey can't do without like hopping, it would look like this the whole time. So the throw would be here in my prep, and then I'd be rotated back, or coiling the upper body, and then I'd be back in the power pocket or through the power pocket, and then I'd be back out again. So it's really simple. It's just that, just 4 moves. So we start here, here. So we're in the box, out of the box, in the box, out of the box. Right? So you can see how that's super simple. And now I'll let one go. For all you weirdos out there that want to see me throw, it's not that impressive. That's a Mako 3, so it's supposed to flip. And in a headwind. Plus I have a natural landing. Oh, let me say something else about that. So the lower you are and keep this, again, there are ways to do this, like eagle. You can create loads of space underneath and release on a natural hyzer. If you keep your disc a little lower, a little like mid-torso would be more of a flat natural release. And then if you're real high, it's gonna be more of a anhyzer, natural release. All are fine, you gotta work around. Maybe in the future we find out one's better than the other. Maybe flat's the best, I don't know. And then you just learn to adjust your torso angles. So yeah, that's what I think is the simplest. I certainly don't think it's the only way, but I think it eliminates a lot of problems from the get and sets you up for success. Like I mentioned, this is what I use with a lot of my students on Patreon. If you guys want to be part of an amazing community, which we do have over on our Discord, check out our Patreon. The link is in the description below. Or if you want some one-on-one coaching and want some of my time, we can chat it up, improve your game, and have some fun. Thanks so much again, guys. Peace out. Oh yeah, you can do that now that you have that.